Hi everyone, and I'm back with another video. Um, I've been searching on YouTube and I haven't been able to find anything like it. I mean, I love making dresses and stuff, but I absolutely hate people who fold a bit of fabric, just cut it around and, oh, we've got a dress. I'm sorry, that's not very realistic. I mean, there are people who are able to do it. They have or the experience to do it, or they just have a certain feeling with the fabric and the patterns and stuff. But to me, to have a good dress, not talking about a quick dress, having a good dress is worth more than having a quick dress. I mean, I like when it goes quickly and smoothly, but that depends more on the fabric and on what you want than on not using a pattern. I mean, come on, I can make a simple dress, yes, in an hour if I want to, but I'm sorry, I think most of those dresses are quite crappy and not worth even that hour of time. I think if I want to make something, I want to wear it. I want to be able to go out and proudly say, yes, I made this dress myself. So today I'm gonna just keep it quite simple. I'm gonna talk to you about some patterns and what it is and what's basically in them. And then next time I'll probably talk a little bit about fabrics and then a sewing machine, and I'm gonna try to make a little bit of a lesson thingy of it. I'm figuring it out as I go. So today I'm just gonna talk about some patterns. I just ordered some. I ordered old ones. Why do I order old ones? Because this throwaway society has made throwaway patterns. I mean, the old ones are in the same kind of papery stuff and that's all the same. But when they used to make a pattern and it wasn't good, it wouldn't sell because people had only very limited amounts of fabric and money to spend to make a new dress. So, yes, my cat again, that's Wally. So the pattern had to be quality or people wouldn't buy it anymore. Today, a pattern is a pattern. If it's good, it's good. If it's bad, it's bad. Well, who cares? I mean, it's just a hobby, but I don't feel that way. I'd rather spend the equal amount on an old pattern that I know will be good, will be better, than spending it on a new one nobody has used, and I get some crappy thing I have to work on for hours to get to the point that the old one was at already. So I prefer the old one, so that's just my opinion. I've got one new one here. I have used it. It's one of the Simplicity ones. I mean, I can show you. This is a new one. This is an old one. Just to say, I don't have anything against the company or whatever. It's just, this is an old one, this is a new one. I had a lot of trouble with the new one. As you can see, it is a bustier or just one with here you can see it better, with some thicker kind of straps, and then it's folded. I did like the folding though, the folded skirt. I don't know if you can see it. If you can look at the picture over here, you can see some pleats. See? So I do like the pleats because that was actually, I made this for a friend. Actually, I made it for my best friend to wear on my wedding. It's a very lovely red dress I made. I lengthened it because she's a long girl. I mean, you see me, I'm about 1 meter 58, almost 60, and she's like a head and a neck taller than me. So she sticks out next to me, or just to be plain, I'm short, she's long. And so the dress was too short. I mean, come on, you're not gonna show up in a wedding in a mini dress, I think. I don't think that's very nice. Especially because it was vintage themed, years around 50s. So I got it out of the package. I looked at the patterns, at the pieces. I mean, that is something I sometimes miss on modern packets. See, they have the examples of what you can make, but nowhere is shown which pattern pieces are there. So you have no clue how many pieces there are. I mean, there is an indication of how much you need, but I don't think it's very clear either. So that's a big downside. What I do think is I don't know. And the envelopes are still quite the same. So except you can tear them off, which that used not to be. So that might be why they tear off quicker now than they used to. If you get it out, I'm gonna get it out and there is a little booklet with it, with the patterns on it. But I do believe with the old ones, I'm gonna have a quick look. Yeah, it's the same. Or no, it isn't, I think. Yes, no, it's the same. Look. Old one, new one. It's just folded better, so neater. So you have some options, but the first thing I have to tell you about modern patterns is they calculate something they call, I don't know what they called it anymore. And basically they measure what extra you need to move. But if you make something like this, made out of jersey stretches, do you need the extra? No, you don't. So they make like jersey dresses, which they make in jersey with extra for movement. I mean, that's ridiculous. If you want to make a dress that's too big, you just make it a size bigger. I mean, if you want a dress that fits, you need to go to the size you want. But if you measure the size you want, draw it out, and then do the adjustments you want, because sometimes you can see on the measurements, oh, my waist is smaller or my bust is bigger, and you do the adjustments, and then you make it, and the dress is just a size too big. I mean, that is absolutely awful. I hate it when it happens, and it happens. Actually, it happens always when I use one of today's. So that's why me don't like it. I mean, if I would be, then I draw it out and I start measuring and I say, where are those figures? Where did they get their figures? Where did they get their measurements for hips and waist and boobs? And I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous. I mean, if you want to use a modern pattern, go ahead, but measure. If you start drawing out your bodice and your skirt, if you have a flared skirt like this, mostly it's not a problem. You only have to see that where the belt is. So here's no belt, where the cut is from your waist. That if you make your bodies smaller, that you have a smaller skirt alignment. So take some off at the sides. So that's the easiest way to do it. You have to calculate the pleats, but you can just get some off the side if it's not too much you are taking in. So to me, a modern day pattern is not the ideal thing to use, but I mean, if you want to have a nice dress, you can start with it, but measure. That's the only thing I can say as my biggest hint in all dress, trousers, everything you make, measure. Then, so this is the, I mean, it looks old, but it's a new one. Now, that's the new one, the old one. Oh yes, the explanations, I'm sorry. So they both have some explanations and some views. Now they put in here in big which pattern pieces you have, you are in the packet. I'll say it like that. And but the old ones also have it. I'll tell you what's on there more. There are general directions. General directions to me are crappy directions. I mean, make adjustments before placing pattern on fabric. Duh. If you cut it, it's too late. So, to lengthen. Cut pattern between lengthen or shorten lines. Spread pattern evenly, the amount needed, and tape to paper. Yes. Okay, so you need to cut it in half and then just lengthen it. And I mean, okay, that's still understandable. And there's some other things. I mean, the symbols they use, that I think is handy. But grain line, whatever. Place on straight grain of fabric parallel to selvedge. Do you guys know what a selvedge is? If you get your fabric and you fold it in two lengthways, there is this kind of strip on the side that is not the fold. That's where they seal the fabric so it wouldn't tear out. That's the selvedge. I mean, come on. I mean, I don't know. If you haven't never done it, I mean, do you know what a selvedge is? Do you know what a grain is? Some patterns, I think it's important, but that's more fabric talk. It's important that if you are using something felty or like, oh, what's the name called in English? No, I'm thinking hard. It's mostly red. It's like curtains. You can, if you go up and down, it felt. No, is it felt? I don't know. I'll look it up. I'll have to look it up and talk about it in my fabric video. So those have short hairs. So if you rub against those hairs, it changes color. So that is normal, that you have to keep a lot of things in mind too, but that's a very difficult fabric. I mean, don't get that to begin. Get a simple, straight, plain cotton. Nothing with stripes. Stripes, no, don't start it. Stripes are difficult. I love a good stripe, but a stripe is difficult. Go for a dot. Go for the tiny pattern that repeats itself. Go for something that is just plain. A nice purple, a nice little flower. I don't know. Go for something with not too much things on. I mean, you know what I mean? I think you know what I mean. Too much florally patterns and stuff. I mean, because there's pattern and pattern. It's getting confusing, people. Okay, so back to the general directions, which are crappy. It's about putting marks and signal thickness and stuff. Things I will discuss with you later. Then there is how to cut the fabric. I hope you can see this. So this is suggestions on how to lay your patterns for cutting them out. I find I'm cheaper. I'm a quite good cutter, I admit it. But if you look a little bit and you keep in mind your own fabric, because they mostly measure it to one width, because you've got different kind of widths. You've got fabric that's about 1.50 meters in the hole. I mean, if you fold it double, it's 75 centimeters, or you can have as short as about 60 centimeters. I mean, 1.20 meters to 1.50 meters. I mean, it varies. Every fabric varies, I think. So I don't look at that. I mean, I look at it and then go, huh, I can do better. So I try to see that my pattern pieces are straight, that they are with the line. So if I cut them and sew them together, I don't have distorted fabric patterns. But I think if you have, they stated here that their fabric is 115 centimeters or 150. Yes, if you've got a fabric from 120, 130, 140, 140 is very common, but it's not 150. So you have to then start redoing the puzzle. You need a bit more or a bit less. So I always buy a little more than indicated, but I always have like half a meter at the end. But I do pre-wash my fabrics. Whatever you do, pre-wash. Even if it's just short program, 30 degrees, I don't care, wash. If it's cotton, wash, 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 wash. Because you don't want to start making your dress and then suddenly being finished and saying, oh, I've worn it, it's nice, I love it, da, 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 da. Put it in a washing machine and it's your baby sister's dress. I mean, come on, don't be ridiculous. Wash your fabric and you won't have any problems with washing it afterwards. What's on here more? General directions, blah blah blah. I think, yes. Then there are some sewing directions. I think those sewing directions, I have more from the pictures than from the written things. I mean, I'll show you. Yes, I'm trying to peek along. These are pictures of what you're supposed to do, and this is text from what you're supposed to do. So, I mean, sometimes it's very difficultly explained. Stay, stitch, neck edge of bodies, front and side, front edges, half an inch. Did you understand any? I didn't. And I learned this in school, so I'm kinda, let's call me a semi-professional, because I know how to do this stuff. I even did it in school. We worked together with a couple of designers, so let's say I know my stuff, and I think the wording is very difficult. I look at the pictures and mostly I get it from the pictures. So to me the pictures are more important than the text. So that's what's in there, and then it's also in some other languages. So, but you also have to count in that it's for more than one kind of. I mean, there's only one basic pattern in here. My apologies. But there's one basic dress, but it has variations. Like for instance, with like you can see here, with no straps or with lace on top, and it makes it very different. So you have to decide. Mostly there's A, B, C, D, E, F. E, F. Yes, then we're done. Underneath those dresses, which one you pick, and follow those instructions or those pictures. So that's the old one. That's the new one. I'm sorry. This is the old one. They're basically the same. They also have how to lay them out, but they have multiple. So that's what I think is better. So they have it for blouse 1, blouse 2, blouse 3. This is from blouses, I'm sorry. So they have it. So they have more options you can see. And they have some less instructions on them. So this is the downside of the old ones. If you're not so into sewing yet and don't have the experience yet, sometimes it's a little bit difficult because there are less pictures, but I do think the explanation is better. Let's see. Where's the start of it? I'm just gonna have a tiny peek at where it starts. maybe I'm gonna try and see. Joining sleeve unit to blouse. So it's about a blouse and you're putting the sleeve in. It has the picture of just a stitched in sleeve, but on the inside. With right side together, very important, pin sleeve in armhole with center small dot, so it's a dot you draw on your pattern, at shoulder, seam matching underarms. So they say your seam needs to match and the dot needs to match your seam up here. And the remaining small dots pull up machine stitch to fit. So I think this is more understandable English, not very sewy English. That the modern ones have more sewing English, and this is just plain English. But people in the area this was made, women would more make their own dress. So I think they assume you have more knowledge about dressmaking than you would in the modern day. But in the modern day, the explanations are more difficult. So it's pick and choose, good versus evil, I think. So I'll show you which patterns I bought recently. I have bought, yes, I showed you this one. It's actually for the blouses. So it's this one kind, is it? No, it's the one with the shawl craw. They call it a shawl craw. Is it craw? Do you call it craw? Probably. So it's with a shawl. It's actually making a neckline to the shawl. It's just making an extra strip of fabric to the end, so you have something like that. I really like that one, and I thought maybe this one, the bottom one, I liked, but I because I know what I'm doing, I can vary more. So I can, like for instance, I can just take off this neckline and make it a little bit deeper and have just a very plain straight kind of shirty thing or whatever. I can go a lot of ways with it. Then what I bought more, I bought this one. I really like this one. I mean it's quite simple and still quite straight, but I really liked it. It does have a zipper in the back. You can make it look, I mean, they're the same dress, but it looks so different. This has the sleeves, and this has the white with the checkered fabric, and this is just red and with a belt. I mean, it looks very nice. I mean, it's a good summer dress, going to a party or just sitting with family or friends. I mean, you got a lot of choice with this one. Then these are my old-fashioned ones. I just like them. This one I bought because it has what they call raglan leaves. I don't know how you call it, but in Belgium it's raglan. They are not stitched in. They are cut with the bodice. So maybe I can show you. Yeah, okay. If you look closely above my finger, or beside my finger, you can see this is, I think, the front. This is the front, actually. So this is the front. You can see there is not, the sleeve is just attached to the bodice. So you don't have to sew any sleeves. So that's quite easy to do. I mean, it makes a special kind of dress, but it's easy. I do wonder what it will look like if I finish it. And I did like, you can do it in short sleeves or long sleeves, which I do like. I mean, if you want to have a first dress, do look for something maybe with and you're conscious about putting in sleeves. No sleeves is a good option then, or raglans. So with no stitchy sleeves. Then I did like both of the skirts. I do like this. It apparently suits me if it's not too stitched in. And this one I like because of the big fluffy skirt, but it is not scrunched together. I don't know. It's not really scrunched together, so it's nice and flat. If you can see, and how the pieces, they are really flared, so it's not not so heavy on your hips. If you're quite heavy on the hips, go suddenly out is not a very good idea. This is more like a overly A-line kind of skirt. So then I bought, oh yes, two more. Sorry. Then I bought this one. I like this one. I really like this, and I didn't like this one. But this, I think, if you make it a size bigger, or I might be making it a size bigger, and maybe shorting it a little bit. I think it's even meant as. This is what it is. No, apparently not. I thought this might have been used as a coat, a real outside coat, but I mean, if you shorten it a bit, you have this very lovely in-between coat, not for winter or summer, but something just for when it's a little bit more chilly outside and you were just wearing that longer dress and don't want it always peeping out, and you don't want to spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars or euros on just basically a little bit of a in-between jacket, just to go from car to restaurant or I don't know what. So, but I really like this one. I liked how the skirt was formed. I mean, it's also the same kind of flowy skirt. It's the real A-line, but if your A-line stops where it stops today, I mean, you can see it's a definite A-line. And I really liked the neck, how it was made. I am really thinking about the word. Collar, I'm sorry, it's the word collar. So I like this collar. It's kind of pointy, it's different. I think it will be quite easy to sew, because mostly collars are in two pieces, and I do believe, no, it's two pieces. I'm sorry, it's two pieces. It's the back facing collar. Look, I'm gonna show you. This one, it's tiny piece, and then the collar itself. But I think it's an interesting dress. I do like the extras on the sleeves, which I thought went nice with the collar. So I really liked that one. I'm hoping I get to make all of them quite soon, but I think if I get one finished for the summer, I'll be lucky. This one, I actually bought it for this one. This one has no collar, so if you're looking for a simple dress, this is definitely it. If you leave out the sleeves, no collar, and then it's the only tricky thing about it is this. Do you see what I mean? The buttons. I can show you. The buttons. The buttons itself is not tricky, but making the flaps is a little bit tricky. It's not overly tricky, but you have to know what you're doing and where you're going to get it fitted very nicely. And then putting the buttons and your buttonholes on the correct place. I think it's... I'm sorry, I'm just gonna look quick at a... No, I think it's a very easy pattern. There is no collar, there is no back flaps, there is nothing. No, this is an easy one. So I think I showed you my latest patterns. I think I told you a little bit about patterns. I think I will make a second video about what pieces there are and what things that are normally you need to draw, or get a little bit of information about some patterns and maybe draw one out for you. Okay? So this is bye bye for now from me. Bye!